Unranked to GM. Usually these series feature elite level players teaching you how to improve. But in this scenario, I'm the one that needs to learn. By reviewing my own gameplay and actively following your advice in the comments, can the community help coach me to Grandmaster? After game 1, my predicted rank was Silver 2, so there's plenty of room for growth. In the first game, I wanted to focus on the 3 Ps. Wait, game's cancelled? Let's try that again. Okay, so in the first game, I'm going to focus on the 3 Ps. I'm going to try and keep the enemy under constant pressure, have good positioning, and track my own cooldowns and the enemies. I start the game by taking the high ground, which I believe is probably the best start for Soldier 76 on this map. I make sure to do push-ups in front of my teammates, so they know I have strong and powerful muscles.
Put your security in my hands.
Smells like victory.
1. Attackers incoming.
Sniper, keep your heads down.
I see that they have a sniper and immediately give up the positioning I started the game with. By separating myself from the team, I've taken a huge risk, especially as I didn't know that the enemy team was playing Hog. Maybe I should have been more aware of that already, or maybe I shouldn't have taken this position until I had all the information available to me. Either way, I'm lucky not to get hooked and punished for this mistake. I realised I would be very vulnerable to the left-hand flank over the bridge if I didn't retreat back to the plant pots, and they also provided natural cover, so I think that's a good position to hold. Sometimes I find it hard to decide whether I should be shooting a tank or not. I don't want to feed the enemy support's ult charge, but I also need to make sure there's enough pressure that the enemy can't advance. For some reason, instead, I decided to look at where the Widow was, which, if it's a competent Widow, they're just going to kill me. I'm definitely not using my Helix rockets effectively. I think I'm just using them without thinking about why or how I should be using them. I'm playing far too reactively instead of preemptively. With my tank dead, I should have known that the enemy team was able to take more space. Instead, I waited until they actually advanced before trying to reposition, and it meant that I got caught by the Hog's hook. Luckily, the Road Hog had been drinking since breakfast, so it meant that I was able to escape with my life. I've backed down onto the bridge. It's a very exposed area with no natural cover, and it means that I can no longer take any off angles to cause more pressure for the enemy team. Repeatedly in this game, I didn't respect Hog's hook distance. While there are things I would have liked to have done differently there, it was a good result and the team fight went quite well. It's a shame I'm about to do something really, really stupid. I shouldn't have joined Hog for those breakfast drinks. I got away with it too many times in the early game. But I saw the fire from Widow. I knew she was there. Why did I poke?
Push him back.
Ugh, why am I on this bridge again? It's quite clear that I'm not really effectively thinking about my positioning at this point. I'm not trying to get the high ground, I'm not trying to take any good angles, I'm just sort of shooting at whatever I can see, and it's not really adding any value. When I do finally take some high ground, I give up the position for no reason whatsoever. I need to make the enemy team force me off the high ground, not give it up voluntarily. Once again, I don't take the initiative to reposition once my own tank has died. Instead, I take out a knife and fork and serve myself on a plate.
60 seconds remaining.
Surrender to my will. Skill issue?
Tango spotted.
30 seconds remaining.
I've got you in my sights. Watch your back, kid. Hostile here.
Check confirmed.
The envy, you see me!
10 seconds remaining.
Heat check. Affirmative.
I am empowering you.
Good choice.
The payload has reached
Activating self-destruct sequence.
Tango spotted. Get out of my way or I'll run you over. Eyes open. Got eyes on an enemy.
I don't know why I decided to chase the Tracer. It's a really poor choice. I shouldn't be seeking out 1v1s, especially ones I'm not confident in. Instead, I should have regrouped with the team and had an awareness of the Tracer to make sure that she couldn't sneak up on anyone and cause any damage without being punished for it.
10 seconds remaining.
Setting up fence. Tango spotted.
I immediately followed this up with another bad decision. I should have regrouped with the team. I'm really disappointed with my decision to push Widow earlier in the game. That was a pivotal moment and a turning point for the enemy team. We could have shut them down before the first checkpoint and easily won this game.
3, 2, 1. Escort the payload.
Try to show some discipline out there. Hostile here.
By using an off angle at the start of the game, I was able to create enough pressure to allow my team to advance. When the game starts, I usually have a plan in place, and I can execute that plan at the start. It's just when the game starts to develop that I find it hard to adapt on the fly. While I do decide to take a good position, I open fire on the Ana, who hasn't seen me yet, when I could have used my Helix rockets to get some extra damage in before I started shooting. It's decisions like this that make it harder to secure kills. And even though I've taken the high ground, I'm also not respecting the echo and not playing around cover effectively.
Keep a lookout.
I may have actually learnt a single lesson in the first round and decided not to 1v1 the Tracer.
Hostile here. Got eyes on us. Check. Affirmative. Tango spotted. We're moving out. Expect resistance.
Before the game, it was my intention to think more about the cooldowns,
Eyes
but
open.
during the game it was clear that I was mismanaging them in massive ways.
Expected you to go.
Much better. I'm on fire. Heads up. You can't beat me. Got eyes on an enemy. Tango spotted. Hostile here. Tango spotted. I've got you in my sights.
If I want to make it to Grandmaster one day, I'll probably have to stop shooting fortified nanoed warhorses. I have learned absolutely nothing.
If I'm still standing, I'm still fighting. Biotic unit ready. Hostile here.
I probably should have died here, but it definitely does reinforce how important cover is.
Eyes open. Appreciate it. Come get healed.
With an almost 20-second cooldown, I definitely shouldn't be using my healing pad so recklessly, especially when I had my team supports next to me.
Tango spotted.
Big stanger lat.
The payload has reached
Hostile here. Heads up.
Just as I was about to unlearn my lesson from earlier and take an unnecessary 1v1, Tracer decided to take the easy path out when she saw the giant size of my muscles. Another lucky escape. Once again I've tried to force my way through the main choke without using any cover whatsoever and have limited options.
Keep a lookout. Hostile here.
Let the Kitsune guide you!
There's been a lot of times where I've backed down when I've been low health, but especially when the team is pushing forward like that and we have an auto like Kiriko's, it's important to keep the pressure up. I'm glad I decided to commit to that and be aggressive. I think sometimes I'm too passive in my play.
I've got you in my sights.
I'm definitely going to use my Helix rockets better in the next game I play.
Biotics deployed. KIA. Tango spotted.
60 seconds.
Eyes on an enemy.
Round 2. Complete. 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Despite what I said earlier, I've decided not to take the high ground here. I'm not sure why. I was thinking maybe if they started with the Tracer I'd be more exposed. But it's always best to take the high ground and be forced off it than to just give it up in the first place. I'm not sure why I did this, because now I can't reposition without potentially exposing myself to a Widow if they have one.
Eyes on an enemy.
30 seconds.
I've got an arrow. Who needs it?
10 seconds remaining.
Alari already has her ult, probably because I've been piling damage into Roadhog for no particular reason.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
I think this is the second time this has happened this game. I've seen the Widow ult and ran to that corner, which means that I can't go down the stairs and I can't go up the stairs because either way the Widow will be in a position to headshot me. It's a really poor decision making for myself, and it's meant that I'm out of the game until the ult ends or Widow becomes distracted.
Everyone heal up.
Round 3.
Shut your yap.
3, 2, 1. Escort the payload.
I try the same strategy that worked last time, which is always risky because the enemy might be more prepared for it. And in this case, due to the fact that I'm missing most of my shots, not using my Helix rockets effectively, and the fact they have a different team composition, it's really not working out for me. Despite making a good choice to take another off angle, which arguably I should have done at the start of the game anyway, I don't initiate combat with my Helix rockets. Like the Ana earlier, this means I don't secure the kill, and it's a wasted opportunity.
60 seconds remaining. Enhancing your
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Tactical termination. Fields online.
procedure gone awry.
Tango spotted.
Originally, I was going to take the high ground, but I decided the Widow would probably be watching that window, so instead it might be better to take an alternative approach and apply pressure from elsewhere. Unfortunately, I'd used all my brain power in that manoeuvre for the match and decided to just do nothing. Because I didn't effectively pressure the enemy team, it left my own team exposed and in danger, and as a result they all died on the payload.
Payload is Oscar
It
Mike.
put us in a poor position, and it could have been avoided had I taken the high ground and tried to pressure the enemy team. Instead, I'm on this bridge. Again. I didn't react fast enough to the Mercy. I should have known that she would have used her revive from the safety of that doorway, and I could have pushed her effectively a lot sooner.
Ready for use. Smells like victory.
Unfortunately, we did end up losing this game, but it was bittersweet. I like these really close games because it means that a couple of decisions could have completely changed the outcome, and it gives me a lot to think about. There's already so much that I know I did wrong in that game, and so much I could have improved upon. So, I'm going to try to apply this to the next game, and hopefully I can continue to grow and get better as a player.
I've got you.
If you're a similar rank to myself and have learned anything from this video, or you just want to join the collaborative coaching journey, please consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.